Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
Today's song I will try to sing, Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara, comes from a song by Rabindranath Tagore. It is a Rabindra Sangeet who very beloved in Bengal and beyond. The song's brief meaning is, I have made you the North Star of my life. In darkness and on the wandering paths, I carry you in my heart. When in the dead of night the evening breeze sings its faint melodies, my heart's veena, flute, trembles with the waves of sorrow. In every note, your name rises up, filled with deep emotion. I have made you North Star of my life. When this vessel of my body crosses over to the other shore of death, you, my North Star, will still remain awake in my soul. Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara Ishomudre Arukobo Habonako Pathohara Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara Ishomudre Arukobo Habonako Pathohara Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara Jethayami Jainako Tumi Prakashito Thako Jethayami Jainako Tumi Prakashito Thako Okulo Noyono Jale Dhalo Go Kirono Dhara Okulo Noyono Dhale Dhalo Go Kirono Dhara Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara Ishomudre Arukobo Habonako Pathohara Tumari Koriachi Jibonero Dhrubotara জাগিতেছে সঙ্গোপনে তিলেকো অন্তর হলে নাহেরি কুল কিনারা কখনো বিপথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে হেরিতি কখনো বিপথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে হেরিতি অমনীয় মুখ হেরি সারমেশে হয়ে সারা তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা এই সমুদ্রে আরো কব হব না কো পথহারা তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা.
I am reading from the book Spiritual Treasures, Letters of Swami Turiyananda, translated and edited by Swami Chetanananda. This letter, Swami Turiyananda writes from Ramakrishna Advaita Ashrama, Varanasi, 14th December 1912, to Swami Nirupamananda. Dear Sridhar, I have received your letter dated December 10. Never cease thinking of God. Whether you get joy or not, continue your meditation daily on a regular basis. If you can practice steadfastly, you will gain experience bliss. The great sage Vyasa said, when there is a disorder of bile secretion, sugar does not taste good in the mouth. But if one goes on taking sugar earnestly every day, he gets cured from the bile disorder and gradually begins to enjoy the taste of sugar. Similarly, one does not taste the joy of spiritual disciplines due to avidya or ignorance. But if one keeps on doing japam and meditation daily with love and zeal, his gloom due to the ignorance goes away and the love of God emerges. Therefore, never give up spiritual practices. Rather, do them wholeheartedly. Eventually, you will derive joy from them. Why do you pay so much attention to the fruits of action? Go on doing your work. In this world, an employer pays his employees. Will not God give you anything if you work for Him? Do your duty. What will you gain by complaining like this? I have not achieved anything, or I am not making any spiritual progress. Rather, go on doing your work silently, and the result will ensue by itself. The mystic saint Ramprasad sang, do your work with the steadfastness of a hereditary farmer. Make the effort with all of your mind. Then you will reap a golden harvest. That is all. Patience is needed. Does a seed bear fruit as soon as it has been sown? Have patience. One reaps harvest after so many ordeals, protecting the seeds, watering, weeding, saving them from pests, putting up fences to keep out goats and cattle, and so on. What more shall I say? What Swami Vivekananda said is true. Devotion to God is dormant in everyone. It manifests itself when the veil of lust and gold is removed. The attempt to remove that veil is called sadhana or spiritual disciplines. And when this veil disappears, the kundalini automatically awakens. Nothing will be achieved if you scatter your mind in all sorts of things. Hold on firmly to your chosen path and resolve that you will attain liberation and devotion through it. Only then will you succeed. I have told you again and again, yet you won't listen. What can I do now? Do as you please. You have the choice to select your guru and follow the methods of sadhana. Please do not ask any more questions in this matter. I wrote to you more than once. He who is full of faith and zeal and has subdued his senses obtains knowledge. Having obtained knowledge, he soon attains the supreme peace. Gita. But the man who is ignorant and without faith and always doubting goes to ruin. Not this world, nor the world beyond, nor happiness is for the doubting soul. These are the words of God. Now do as you please. With love and best wishes, Turiyananda.
Now a short period of meditation. A very good morning to you all. And today is a so beautiful day, all sun, and the topic is also, we have to talk on spirituality, my birthright, and the very relevant song and the talk and the reading, which says that pole star, I have now pole star in my life and my direction is fixed. I won't deviate from that. And that pole star is God or spirituality that we seek. And Swami Turiyananda, the knower of Brahman, the sage of the Gita, as Sri Ramakrishna himself certified. Swami Turiyanji said that divinity, that devotion to God is inherent in every human being. And whatever is not evident of that is only some clouds that covering. Remove the clouds, and love for God will be evident in your life. So, spirituality, my birthright. From my very birth, it is my, I have the power to manifest the spiritual awareness in my life. It's me as one individual human being. Every human being has the right to express the spirituality. What is spirituality? That which dwells in everybody. Swabhavodhyatmam uchyate. Gita says, that is, to know the workings of the mind and training it to know the highest truth is the meaning of spirituality. The mind should be trained to know the highest truth of spiritual awareness. So, don't go to the Vedantic thing that mind cannot reach there. It is self-evident. It is beyond even the awareness of the Brahman is beyond the reach of the mind. The mind can be trained and has to be trained to reach there. It is through the training and working of the mind we reach close to there. What is said in the Vedanta is you cannot mind, it is so profound, so subtle, so subjective that mind cannot perceive that ultimate truth. But mind can help you to reach very close to it. And by the grace of God, when the mind is fully pure and has gone closest to it, you will reach that. Your spirit will merge in the highest spirit. Atman will be Paramatman. So we have to work on the mind. Whole of spiritual life, whole of seeking of happiness in this life is working on the mind. So that is spirituality. When we train the mind to know the highest truth, that is what spirituality is. Why is spirituality so important? Because without that we become material. We seek all happiness in this material world. All happiness, security, permanence, which is not there. It is like searching a black cat in a dark room where cat is not there. We are all seeking happiness, security, permanence, immortality in this world, which is not there at all. We are wrongly seeking. The pole star is not guiding us. So we have to have that pole star, which is spirituality. When we go and seek that, then we'll get all those things. So to have the lasting peace and happiness, we have to search for our spiritual nature. And strangely, this joy, everlasting peace, all this is given to us. It is there with us. We have forgotten that and searching in the place where it is not there. That's why in the Upanishad it is said, a few persons who are desirous of immortality, they turn their eyes inwards, abritta chakshu, because they wanted immortality, and amritattvamichan, because seeking of immortality and highest peace and highest joy, they turn their eyes away from the material world. So, and the Upanishad also says there is no other way for lasting peace. In Kathopanishad it says, Mrityosa mrityumapnoti ya iha naneva pashyati. Till we have trained our mind to perceive the one underlying reality of this varied universe of varied form, taste, color, so many varieties, and we are not able to see the one underlying unity, underlying reality, which is one, on which all this seem. We are not able to see the ocean, the water, and see only the waves of different kind. We will never be able to reach that joy. And what will happen? We'll be traveling from death to death. We'll be dying, and then next birth quick, and then again dying, because we have not trained our mind to see the oneness. Iha nana eva pasare. As if there are many, the oneness has not been perceived. So, to have the lasting peace and joy, the spirituality is essential. That's what they say. Upanishad says that way. Nanya pantha. There is no other way. Spirituality is needed to be free from worries, anxieties, and suffering. This world with little of happiness and little of pleasures, it ultimately gives us a lot of suffering, anxieties, worries, all are there. If we are spiritual by nature, or we have trained our mind to seek spirituality, if we have grown that spirituality which is called devotion to God, or love of God, or this meditation, or whatever way you say, then while living in the world, we can be free from these things. It is possible to be free from suffering, anxieties, and worries if we train our mind to dwell on our spiritual nature. So that is possibility, great possibility. That's why spirituality is essential to practice and experience if we want joy in life. Spirituality also needed to be free from fear. In this life, we always live in fear. Always, because this life is uncertain. This life is given, we are here, and it's very uncertain. It's on the flimsy ground. The very earth that we think solid is in fact floating. This huge shell of this earth is floating on the molten lava. Nothing is permanent here. Nothing is secure. So if that condition is of the world, what will be our condition? Our very human life system is very, very temporary. So many organs, so many systems, little something failure and it is all finished. Nothing is there. So we are always afraid of losing this life, afraid of losing our health, afraid of everything, losing our dear and near ones. So it is always fought with the fear. That is what is thing. If we want to be free from fear, again the spiritual nature. Instead of thinking ourselves as this individual being having this body and mind, we have to know who we really are. That we are spirit, unchangeable, permanent, undying, immortal. That is our true nature. That is the only way to become immortal. When you say, may the divine lead us from death to immortality, doesn't mean that we in this body and mind will be immortal. It will be, we should be able to realize that we are not this mortal body, but we are immortal spirit. That very knowledge of our true nature as the spirit will make us immortal. That very knowledge is immortality. So when that knowledge comes that we are not a dying entity, we are immortal being, then all fear of everything goes away. Fear of uncertainty is totally gone, because we do not cease to exist when this body does not exist. So we always exist in the same way. The beautiful story of which one is truth. Janaka was having a dream, and he saw in the dream that the king Janaka, great king, he had lost his kingdom in the battle and has been driven out from his kingdom. So he was running in to save his life in the dream he saw. And then in that he saw that tired and hungry, he was running in the desert to save himself from the king who has conquered. Finally he saw, became very thirsty and hungry. Finally he went, there was a queue there, and he saw at the end of the queue line there was someone was giving some food. And he stood in the line, and when he reached the food was almost finished, little was left. Someone gave him. So when he was going, already so tired he was in the dream. And then when he went to have that porridge, whatever food was left, one bird came, eagle-like, and it threw that bowl of food. It all spilled over on the desert, on the sand. He could not eat. Suddenly, his dream was broken. He woke up and found him to be the same king sleeping in the bed, And then he had a question. I saw the dream, so profound dream. It was real for me. And now I am sleeping here. Which one is real? That I am sleeping here, this is real, or that was real? Because both were so real experience for him. And he could not get up, he was not able to say that dream was false and this is real. He had so profound and living dream, it was like living for him. So question came, which is real? Dream was real, or this lying on the bed is real? This my waking state is real, or my dream state was real? Because that he felt was so real. Then he was not waking up, so his guru came. Ashtavakra was there, they went to the guru. Guru came and saw his disciple, the monarch, was not getting up, not doing his duty as the king. The court people are waiting. He came and asked. Then the disciple said, is this true or was that true? So he said, and all he narrated the thing. Then the teacher said, when you were in the dream, did you think anything else other than that? Did it look like true? He said, yes, it is very true for me. And he said, now, is this your being king is true? Yes, this is true. But which one is true of that? He says, that was not true, because it is all lost. Oh, then this is true? He said, no, this is also not true. So that was not true, this is also not true, then there is no truth. Then the great preceptor, Ashtavakra, the Advaita Muni, he said, but you are true. When you were in a dream, that was very true for you. Now you are having waking state, you are true, but this situation is not true. That you are a king and all that, this is not true, but you are true. Wherever you are, whatever your experience, the one who experiences it true. Atman is true, situations are ever changing. So don't consider the situations as true. But you, the Atman, the experiencer, the subject, the drik, the one seer who sees, that is true. So when we have that awareness that spirit alone is true and everything else around that is all make up, so that is all changing. So that takes away our fear. This changing, uncertain world takes away our fear. Yes, it is for the time being, it will change. So spirituality can give us permanent fearlessness. When that sort of fearlessness comes, what comes? What can spirituality give more? It can give us power to love all without any selfishness. All become immediately our own people. All become our own soul in different forms. We all become together part of the same Supreme Soul. Supreme Soul or the Paramatma appearing as different Jivatma. So no difference between I and you. With that realization, that is said in the Upanishad, the real love that human being has for the self, the Atman. That is very psychological and truth. We love only self or the Atman. So nothing else. Whatever we love outside the self is because of our connection with the self. That's why Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Nava are patyuh kamaya pati priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya pati priyo bhavati. The wife doesn't love husband because of husband's sake, because he is the husband, but because he is her husband. This her thing is very important. That's why atmanastu kamaya, my husband. That's why the love comes. Wherever there is love, there is my thing is there. I is connected. Real love can be only to I and nothing else. That is very psychologically proven and very deeply thought of. When we love God, because of I, we see our own self manifested fully in God. That's why we love God. If we cannot love anything that is not I or connected with I. So that's what it is. When we see that I manifested in all, then we love everyone without any selfishness or without seeing others. So it is pure love exists. So spirituality can give that experience of pure love. And also this spirituality can inspire us to attain mukti or true freedom. We are so much dependent on everything. So what is freedom? I don't want to be dependent on anything else. I want freedom. So true freedom can be had by spirituality, when we are aware that everything, the whole, this cosmos is interdependent on each other. But I am the spirit, I am totally free, independent of this nature. So that is all the promise of spirituality it can give to you. So spirituality has so many probability and so many it promises that it can give to you. That's why spirituality is important for us. And what the topic said, spirituality is my birthright. I have the power to express and experience my spiritual nature and my divinity. So the question comes, is that for every human being? Is it gender-based? It is training-based? It is ethnicity-based? No, spirituality is for everyone. Every human being can experience the spirituality. Swami Vivekananda also has said, we come to that, in scriptures, particularly in Vedantic scriptures, to have the knowledge of Brahman, there's a big list who can have the knowledge of Brahman. If you read that, none of us are fit to attain the spirituality or attain God realization. It says, big long Sanskrit I read first, then I will go there. Adhikari tu vidivat adhita veda vedangatvena apatata adhigata akhila vedarthosmin janmani janmantareva kamya nishiddhavarjana purasaram nitya naimittika prayaschitto pasana anusthanena nirgata nikhila kalmasataya nitanta nirmala swanta sadhana chatustaya sampanna pramata. Such is the competency of being a student for Advaita sadhana. Now who will attain this? What does this whole big Sanskrit passage mean? It is from Vedanta Sara. It says the competent student is one who can is one comprehended as who has studied and comprehended Vedas by studying it with the prescribed methods. So Vedas have to be studied by the prescribed methods under the teacher. Vedas is a huge book of knowledge. Not only that you have studied the Vedas, but who is absolved from all sins in this or previous births by the avoidance of kamya and nishiddha actions. Kamya and desirable action who will give fruit. Nishiddha is the one who are asked don't do. That person has not done such works of desires, who give you desires object in the world, or who are asked you not to do. So you cannot do that, kamya and nishiddha karma. As well as by penance and devotion, all that has been practiced, has become entirely pure in mind, and who has adopted the 4 sadhanas, practiced viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shatka, sampatti, and mumukshutta. When you have done, you have become free from all sins done in this life or in past lives by performing those actions and not doing at all those actions who are asked, denied in the scriptures, and by becoming fit for adopted the 4 sadhanas, viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shatka, sampatti, and tremendous wish to become liberated. Then one is fit to study the Vedanta, to have the knowledge of Advaita Vedanta. So such a big quality is said for a person. But is it really Sri Ramakrishna came and says, no, not so much is needed. Anyone at any stage can practice spirituality because it is our birthright. And Sri Ramakrishna says, what is needed? He says 2 things, purity of mind and desire to have spiritual knowledge. Purity and longing, for that desire will come later. Longing, you should have a strong wish. Mumukshutta, we said in the scripture, Sri Ramakrishna said, Vyakulata, yearning. I want my spiritual nature to manifest. So that's what he said. Is spirituality attainable by all? Yes, because it is my birthright. Every human being's birthright is spirituality. highest truths must be practical, said Swami Vivekananda. Practical for everyone. It's there in the scriptures, only meant for few persons. So that is not the highest truth. And if it is not practical and approachable for everyone, then the society should be formed in such a way that highest truth should be experienceable by everyone in the society. That's why the birthright comes. So, like in society, everything should be trained in that way. Our teachings in the schools and colleges, our workforce, our everything should be made in such a way that a person desirous of having the experience of the highest truth and living in the bliss of the knowledge of highest truth should be able to understand and practice that truth. That should be the work of the society. That's what should be there. What is the highest truth? Experiencing the joy and peace in the Atman or spirit. So spiritual knowledge should be available to everyone. That's why right. We have the right to spirituality, like right to information, not just right to information, right to education. Every human being has right to educate himself. Right to employment. Everyone should get the employment and money. Similarly, there should be right to, and there is, the right to spirituality, spiritual awareness, spiritual practice, spiritual joy. That is the fundamental right of every human being, and that should be done. Swami Vivekananda wonderfully defined his own thing. My ideal indeed can be put into a few words, and that is to preach unto mankind their divinity and how to make it manifest in every movement of life. That we are divine, that we are spiritual by nature, that we should be able to practice that and experience that, that he says is my ideal, that everyone should be able to manifest the divinity, experience divinity and manifest the divinity in every movement of life. What is the movement of life? In everything that we do should be the manifestation of our spiritual nature. What is spiritual nature? Immediately it comes, it is as it is said in the Gita, Advesta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. You have no envy, no hatred, no avarice, and friendly to all. Maitra karuna evacha. Advesta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. Nirmamo nirahankara. So you are without the idea of ego and egoless, and sense of mindness is not there. All together, that expression is the expression of nirmamo nirahankara, samadukha sukha kshami, and could bear all suffering, and in the joy and happiness also, not over elated and things. It is only his happiness. When Swami Vivekananda was all praised on the 11th of September 1893, in the evening, instead of enjoying and celebrating his own popularity in the whole world, he was crying. His pillow was wet with his tears, because the joy was not his own joy. He said, what is of my popularity, my glory? What about my countrymen? They are poor, they are suffering, they are ignorant, and that is nothing. So in happiness you feel more for others. When nirmamo nirhankara, samadukha sukha, equal happiness and miseries, they don't, misery doesn't make you down and happiness doesn't make you elated. And you are kshami, you have the power to forgive others. This forgiveness is another side of the coin of love. Love and forgiveness and compassion, they go together. When we have that love, that is the expression of spirituality. Otherwise, that is the manifestation of the divinity that within us. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. That is the ideal, that to express the, to understand, practice the divinity and manifest in every movement of our life. When we are expressing spirituality, divinity, we cannot be harsh with others. We cannot be rude to others. We can just be very sympathetic, sweet in our behavior. That is what the manifesting the divinity that is within us, Swami Vivekananda says. And so spirituality is our birthright. It has to be practiced. How to practice? They say, in one of the Sanskrit verses, it says, Grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharmamacharet. Practice spirituality as if your hair is caught by death. Death is inevitable. Life is short. You will going to die. So don't neglect spirituality anymore. People often say, oh, why you want to take spirituality so seriously at this age? You are just 20 years of age. And spirituality is something to be done and when you are 80 like that. When you will turn 80 or not, who knows? We may die before 80. So any time you should think that death may come any time. So practice spirituality, practice love for God, then only spirituality you can express. So that is what the adage says. One rich man was spiritual by nature, but he was very much involved in his maintaining his property and all that. But somehow divinity was there, spirituality was there. So when he was walking through some street, he heard one washerman's little girl saying to his father, Baba, Sandhya hoye elo, basonaye agun kokhon debe? Father, it's evening, getting evening. When will you burn vasana? Vasana has two meanings in Bengali. One is the desire. One is the banana plant. Its the outer covering of the plant is called also vasana. They used to be burned to make ashes. With that ashes, before the soap was discovered, with that ashes the cloths used to be cleaned. And he was a washerman. It is evening, you have to burn, make the ashes ready, you have to wash clothes. Evening has come. Father, when will you burn this plantain shells? She said that to her father. And this Lala Babu was going there, and he said, yes, she's right. It is getting evening. I'm getting age. And when will I burn my desire? He took in the sense of desire. The girl had said in the sense of plantain leaves. So, but vasana was the one word. So we have to think that vasana has to be burned. The evening is already set in. So when will we do that? When we have that, we take spirituality seriously and the spiritual divinity manifestation comes. In human being, two types of natures are there. One is the lower nature and one is the higher nature. Lower nature leads us to the worldliness, enjoy this thing, eat this thing, all this lower nature says that. Another is higher nature. Higher nature is always saying lead to spiritual awareness, permanent joy, permanent lasting peace. That is what is this one another higher nature seeks. So we have to listen to the higher nature. This First Nation person was teaching to his grandchild, a small child. They were walking and said, there we have two foxes. One fox says that enjoy these, grab others' wealth, have something of this in the world. And there is another fox who says, no, you should help others, love others, and you will be happy by serving others. And these two foxes are always in fight within us. And the grandchild asks, then Grandpa, which fox ultimately wins? He says, the fox that you feed wins. Which one you take care? Higher nature, that you love all, help others, do a free service, love your God. You are more doing that type of work or go more for the enjoyment of this world and worldly things. Whomever you feed more, give more importance, that ultimately wins. So take care of the higher nature. Sri Ramakrishna also said, Paka Ami and Kacha Ami, ripe ego and unripe ego. Unripe ego is that which is very worldly ego, that I am this, I have studied this, I am this rich, who knows that, I am so great. That is unripe ego. And when we say, I am a devotee of God, I cannot tell a lie. I am a devotee of God. I cannot hate others. That is said in the scriptures, that you cannot, you always have to be loving all. Don't hate. Advesta sarva bhutanam. All beings should be, you cannot hate anyone, any being. So that is scripture said, I cannot hate anyone. I cannot say bad words to anyone. When you think that way, because you are a devotee of God, you have a standard of life, that becomes ripe ego. This I cannot look down than this, that this much is my thing. Don't stoop so low, as they say. So that when you feel at that height, that is no doubt a ego. The ego of I am a devotee of God. I have to love all nicely. I have to speak with them, with others, kindly and sweetly. When that type of ego is there, it is called pakami. And this ripe ego leads us towards God, because you connect with your divine nature. That will help us to manifest our birthright. To express our divinity is our birthright. That's why Advesta Sarva Bhutanam was there. There is not a fixed age to begin spirituality. And they say there is never it is too early and never it is too late. Whenever you know about the good quality of spirituality, one monk was speaking to the school students, to the public, and he said about the power of the mind and power of thinking, positivity, and manifesting our spiritual nature. That when you can control your mind, you can gain so many things. You can be free from anxieties and worries. You can have love for all. There will be all love, peace, and joy in life. Your whole attitudes can be changed by just training your mind. That person was, among them was one elderly person. And he said to himself, such is the thing and power of the mind. And it was not taught to us in the school. Why didn't they teach us when I was in the high school? I could have changed my life. Swami Vivekananda said also the same thing. There is one nice talk by Swami Sarvapriyananda, 3 powers of mind. Beautiful talk. When you have time in YouTube, it is there. 3 powers of mind. You can listen that. Every you listen, and then you can make your children and grandchildren hear that. That the power of unselfishness, power of decision making, all are the power of mind, and power of purity of mind. These all mind becomes so powerful, and it leads us towards spiritual awareness. And Sri Ramakrishna said, when lotus opens, bees come by themselves. So the thing is, first build character, purify your mind. Spirituality will come to you, for it is your birthright. It is intrinsic to you. Spirituality we don't have to get. It is very much our nature. Our true nature is spiritual nature. Just we need to remove, as it was said by Turiyanji said, remove the clouds that veil your true nature, and then the sun is always shining. Sun was never not shining. So remove the clouds and it shines forth. Sun's bright light, you can say. So first build your character, purify your mind, and spirituality will come to you, for it is your birthright. It is your intrinsic nature. To have that, build the character and make mind, purify the mind, Sri Ramakrishna gave wonderful another yoga, as it were. There were 4 yogas or 5 yogas, as they say. Sri Ramakrishna says the best yoga to practice in Kali Yuga is Vyakulata Yoga. Or do you have yearning, strong desire to be aware of your spiritual nature by worshipping God inside, or meditating on God in your heart, or by thinking of the reality in this unreal world, trying to find the reality in this unreal world? All is for realizing your spiritual nature. So that to strengthen that wish to to realize your spiritual nature, and that is strengthening your will to realize your spiritual nature, because it is so beneficial. Without that, this life is all sad and frustrated life. I want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? To be happy, if spirituality can give me the lasting happiness, why shouldn't I try? So to try that, you must have a strong wish to become spiritual. And that strong will or wish to become spiritual and practice for that is called Vyakulata. And it can be called Vyakulata Yoga. Narada said, actually Sri Ramakrishna said, that Narada's way of divinity, way of love is for the Kali Yuga. And that it says, Tad arpita akhila acharata tad vismarane parama vyakulata. Narada said, what is bhakti? What is devotion? What is love of God? It said, tadarpita akhila acharata. Whatever you do for God. Whatever, speaking, working, walking, everything is meant for tad arpita. You offer that. For God's sake you do. You don't do for any other sake. So you are always with God. And sometimes it may happen that you forget God, you start doing for yourself or someone that you love or you have to do, so and you totally forget God. Then he said, in that very sentence he said, Tad Vishmarane Parama Vyakulata. And he forgot God, and there is so much longing to have come back to God, think of God, do for God. So always have the longing to realize your spiritual nature by loving God, by discerning the real and unreal, or by meditating on your spiritual nature, whatever way, but it's be done with full will, with yearning, with the longing. This longing is essential. With this longing, with this aspiration, the grace flows to you, and you understand your true spiritual nature, your own true spirituality, which is your birthright. Nobody can take it away. Only you have to have the wish, says the Shastras, you have to, or Sri Ramakrishna, you have to will power to think that you want to manifest that divinity within you by manifesting your spiritual nature. Thank you.
On behalf of the Vedanta Society of Toronto, I would like to thank all of you for attending the service today. Now for some announcements of our upcoming events. Our next scripture class will be on Friday, May 2nd at 7:30 p.m. The subject of discussion will be Uddhava Gita. Our next Sunday service will be on the 4th of May at 11 a.m. The title of the talk will be Building Blocks for Inner Strength. Both Friday scripture class and Sunday service will be online only. Buddha Jayanti will be celebrated on May 11th at 11 a.m. The Vedanta Society will be conducting a one-day spiritual retreat in Toronto on the 6th of July from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. This will be conducted by Swami Kripamayananda, the head of the Vedanta Society of New York. For details of the venue, the subject, and retreat, please visit our website. All the details are on the website. Seats are limited, and we encourage you to register as soon as possible by email. You can send an email to the society. After the closing chant, please join us upstairs for prasad. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Mahamai Ki Jai. Jai Swami Ji Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Buddha Ki Jai. Jai Isha Musha Ki Jai. Sarvastaratu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarvasad Buddhimapnotu Sarvatra Nandatu. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all.